Today on Growing Bolder, pursue your passions and believe that the best of your life is still ahead. You'll meet a woman who's building her own future in the classroom and beyond.
I think that most of us have only known each other 24 or 48 hours, and already you can see that they give up so much to help each other, to help me, and I would do the same for them. It's going to be an amazing week.
1 week to complete an adventure that will last a lifetime. We'll take you on an exclusive, dangerous, and incredible journey up the world's tallest freestanding mountain.
Then life will knock all of us down. Hear how one mother, survivor, and member of the Growing Bolder team is using her hardest challenges to stay fueled for the future.
The moral of the story is really follow your heart.
Live your life to the fullest. Don't let anyone tell you that you can't do it.
So get out there. Take some chances.
Find something you love and make it your lifestyle.
Make no mistake about it, it's a revolution.
Welcome to Growing Bolder, the show that is rebranding aging by showing you that the rest of your life can be the best yet. I'm Bill Schaefer.
And I'm Mark Middleton, coming to you from the Growing Bolder house in Lake Nona, Florida. You know, in the not too distant past, the goal for many working men and women has been retirement, or at least the classic sense of it, a gold watch and a goodbye party, and then a few years of R&R.
But today the game is not the same. Retirement can be a springboard to something completely different. Maybe going back to school or going into a whole new field, or in the case of this woman, both.
What's my story? Never give up.
Charmaine Gilbreth had a dream, and nothing, not even age, was going to stop her. At least that's what she thought.
So I retired early at 63, and I said to my husband, I said, dear, I don't want to just sit on the beach and wait till I die. I want to go down to the day school and I want to learn 3D animation. I'm really fascinated with the way 3D is impacting the medical community, especially the production of 3D organs.
When you packed up to come to Florida, your friends must have said you're out of your mind.
Almost, yeah. They were befuddled. But some of them who knew me went, that's Charmaine.
She was ready for a new beginning, and no one was going to talk her out of it.
You know what? I have been fooled my whole life. I'm not going to listen to anybody anymore about what I can and cannot do. So I learned to trust that inner voice, that inner strength. It also has given me an understanding that the human species is remarkable. We can do so much if we choose to. If we choose to, as a coherent and positive force, we can become productive stewards of the earth. We can become people that can take care of our species. We can do it. We went to the moon. You know, we can do this. You know.
But whether it's going to the moon or going to the classroom, very little in life comes easy.
Didn't do too well the first term. I had to take it over again because I'm surrounded by all these young folks who were born with, game controllers in their hands. I'm like, oh my God.
So what made you think you could do it?
Oh, because I went into physics and engineering and I was told my whole life that I was not, that I should be a housewife.
So she re-enrolled, but she wouldn't finish the next term.
I was in the middle of school, and they discovered this huge tumor the size of my bladder practically. And I was like numb. I couldn't believe it.
It was cancer, and the outlook wasn't good.
I didn't let myself think that. I was was afraid. I mean, I didn't give in to that. I was numb most of the time. And then I had this big old operation where they took out half my insides. But I'm clean. And then I just had my most recent scan. I'm clean. I'm a walking miracle. I'm just amazed. So I feel like I better do something good to pay back whatever forces that of good have been working for me. So.
But there was something else Charmaine would have to face, something she says nearly took her down.
My husband is the love of my life, and his health dovetailed my recovery, and we couldn't get a handle on it, that would have devastated me, and it was coming close to demoralizing me pretty hard. So, but he's making his way through it, and we're working it out. So
He suffers from
congestive heart failure combined with COPD. If you smoke, quit. And he was a smoker for many, many years, and then he stopped smoking. So
after almost a year, Charmaine went back to school with a new mission revealed to her after chemo treatments nearly destroyed her kidney.
well, let's just put a new kidney in. So why not? We don't do that. Why not? We're not there yet. I mean, what are you talking about? They're not there yet. I rant like that because there is a huge future in interactive 3D, virtual reality, all that kind of thing. It's really impacted medical imaging, medical surgery, and I don't know why we haven't come up with, not synthetic organs, but organs that we can use additive printing to build.
Charmaine is now on a quest. She says she will not be stopped.
I tell all my instructors and friends here that I'm like the Colorado River and the Grand Canyon. I'm slow, but I am relentless.
And at 65, after overcoming cancer and caregiving for her husband, she still believes she has a lot left to give.
If we're lucky, we have another 20, 30 years in front of us. I don't want to sit on the beach for 20, 30 years. I want to do something positive and good for my country and my people,
and make a difference.
and make a difference.
She's amazing. Charmaine is one of a growing number of people who look at retirement age not as the end of their productive years, but rather as a beginning, a chance to use their skills, knowledge, passion, and experience as a springboard into something personally more meaningful.
Yeah, the big change is that people are not being stopped by the what ifs. What if you get cancer? What if your husband gets heart failure and needs a caregiver? Rebranding aging is understanding that, there are obstacles, but the Charmaines out there don't stop trying. Find a way around them and do what's in your heart for as long as you want to do it.
Of course, technology continues to change day to day, and lifelong learning is the key to staying engaged. Dan Beach is in his 80s and spent much of the last 2 decades building websites and online marketing plans for some of the biggest musicians and bands in the world. Dan refused to get caught on the wrong side of the digital divide, and as a result, he's not only remained relevant and gainfully employed, he's also helped some big names from the 60s, 70s, and 80s not only stay connected to their audience, but also to reach new generations worldwide. And there may be no musician more into technology, especially green technology, than Roger McGuinn, one of the founding members of the Byrds. Roger has solar panels on his roof, he rides an electric scooter, he invented a solar cooler to keep food cold when the power goes out, and of course he runs his own recording studio and label along with his wife Camilla, creating, distributing, and marketing all of his own music. You'll find links to these stories and more hope, inspiration, and possibility all at growingboulder.com/TV. It's no secret that life will give all of us scars. Some are never seen. Some are physical and some are emotional, but if we let them, they can all make us stronger. Scars are often part of our stories, and in the case of Jeff Farrell, they prove that it's never impossible to achieve your dreams, no matter what happens along the way. It's the finals of the men's 70 to 74-year-old 100-meter freestyle at the U.S. Masters National Championships. A few in the crowd know that the man in the middle lane is world record holder Jeff Farrell. Even fewer are aware of his backstory. Do people here know who you are? Do people here know what you did that year?
Some people do.
The year was 1960, and Farrell was the Olympic gold medal favorite for both the 100 and 200-meter freestyle in the Rome Olympics. 3 days after setting new American records in both events, and just 6 days before the Olympic trials, he was rushed to the hospital for an emergency appendectomy. And this was back in the day when it wasn't laparoscopic. I mean, they cut you.
They cut me open because it was pretty hot, and they didn't want to. They could have done a smaller incision, but they made a large one because they didn't want to disturb the hot appendix.
Doctors predicted that it would take at least 6 weeks for Farrell to return to competition. The U.S. Olympic Committee met quickly and offered an unprecedented opportunity to make the team in a special time trial weeks later. He declined the offer. How hard was that to say thank you but no thank you?
It was automatic. I would have had to take somebody else off the team in order to make the team. They were giving me a chance to try 2 or 3 weeks later, and then I would swim against the sixth qualifier out of 6, and if I beat him, he'd be off the team. That's not right.
3 days after surgery and just 3 days before the trials, Farrell was lying in a hospital bed when his coach suggested he visited the hospital gym and then casually said,
"By the way, there's a pool in the basement of the hospital that the nurses use. If you feel good after dry land, maybe you could go there tomorrow." So I started the 3rd day, dog paddling in pain.
The next day, he began to take full strokes, and the day after that, just 6 days after emergency surgery, he swam in the Olympic trials. Wrapped in yards of surgical bandages, in pain every time he breathed, unable to perform the standard racing dive return, Farrell competed in the 100 free, needing to finish first or second to make the team. I know this because I was there. When I was 9 years old, my father drove our family to Detroit for the Olympic trials. In fact, this is the program from that night that I've saved all these years. And inside, in my father's handwriting, the finals of the 100-meter freestyle, with Farrell finishing 3rd.
The day after I didn't make the team in the 100, the fellow who made second beat me by 1/10 of a second came up to me and said, "I'm not going, you're going to take my place on the team, you're a faster swimmer." That was Bruce Hunter. And he asked the coach, and the coach said absolutely no. I said absolutely no, but he made a sincere offer to give me his place on the team.
Farrell would have one more opportunity. If he finished in the top 6 in the 200, he would make the Olympic team on a relay. He finished 4th and was off to Rome, where just a few weeks later he anchored both the freestyle and the medley relays to gold medals and world records. His splits would have won gold in both the individual 100 and 200. If it sounds like it should be a book, it will be. Farrell is now working on a memoir, My Olympic Story, Rome 1960. But his story hardly ends in Rome. He did quit swimming for 20 years, but returned to competition in the early 1980s and has so far broken nearly 30 Masters World Records. He still has the abdominal scar from 1960 and has added a couple of others.
I got one here too, you might have noticed.
What was that?
That was open heart surgery 5.5 years ago, and so I'm healthier. That's one reason I'm swimming better, because I've got new, bypasses and new aortic valve, and so I got a better system inside me working to help me.
Jeff Farrell, one of the greatest Olympic champions of all time, still going strong with no plans to slow down.
It feels good to be able to swim and compete with these guys. It's a lot of fun, and I know it's good for me.
He really is an inspirational man. And by the way, he's now in his 80s and recently set a new world record in his age group in the 50-yard freestyle. He also works full-time in real estate.
Such a great story, Mark. And what really amazed me about it is when we shot that at the International Championships, how many of the older swimmers have scars from open heart surgery. But swimming, vigorous exercise, turns out to be an important part of their rehabilitation.
Yeah, proof that we can bounce back from just about anything, that extreme recovery is possible, and if you want to keep moving, you have to keep moving.
There's real confusion in the financial industry about the difference between planning and investing. And the greatest tip I can leave you with is know intimately the difference between planning and investing. Because investing is a means to an end. The plan defines what the end. The plan defines your goals, your individual goals, your goals as a couple. The plan defines what kind of lifestyle that you have spent 30, 40 years dreaming about, and how can we achieve it given how much money you bring to your retirement journey. So it's important to recognize that the plan should drive every financial decision that you make. And then the investing, once you create the plan, the investing becomes self-evident. Nobody has a crystal ball. Nobody's investment portfolio is better than anyone else's. They're a dime a dozen. What differentiates successful retirement journey from an unsuccessful retirement journey where someone runs out of money at 72 is the plan, because the plan creates the blueprint for success in retirement.
You can do hard things, probably more than you even realize, even if you have issues, financial, physical. It's all part of growing bolder, trusting that it's okay to challenge yourself, to find a way around. Don't limit your opportunity to have new adventures just because of worry.
Yeah, fear is the dream crusher, the opportunity ender. When I joined a team of cancer survivors and advocates in an attempt to summit the world's tallest freestanding mountain, I was nervous. How could we all endure and make it to the summit as a group? Well, it turns out that the answer was simple yet profound. Love really can move mountains. What do you get when you combine one of the world's greatest mountains, one of the world's greatest mountaineers, and one of the world's greatest causes? One of the world's greatest adventures. The Survivor Summit team, 16 cancer survivors and cancer community advocates, arrives in Tanzania, Africa, to begin their quest to reach the frozen summit of Mount Kilimanjaro, the world's highest freestanding mountain.
There is definitely behaviors that can happen in this group that can absolutely sink us as fast as possible, right? And then there's behaviors that can actually elevate us and increase our chance to get to the summit.
Led by renowned high-altitude mountaineer Chris Warner, the climbers include Doug Ullman, a 3-time cancer survivor and former CEO of the Livestrong Foundation, breast cancer survivor Bree Sandlin, colon cancer survivor Jeremy Jungling, and 2-time cancer survivor Wendy Chioji. Within hours of meeting one another, the team makes a stunning decision that statistically all but dooms their chances of success. They will all reach the summit together, or no one will. They will succeed or fail as one.
I think that most of us have only known each other 24 or 48 hours, and already you can see that they give up so much to help each other, to help me, and I would do the same for them. It's going to be an amazing week.
Their mission is to send a message of hope and inspiration to 32 million cancer survivors worldwide and to honor those who ran out of time.
It's not just a matter of whether you got to the top, but did you do it in a style that you can be proud of forever? And you see these teams that will put summit ahead of all else. It's every man for himself to get to the top. And quite often on these, more dangerous situations, not all of those people come home alive.
Over the next 6 days, the team climbs through mud and snow and ice, making a slow but steady ascent under the increasingly hostile conditions. They eat hot meals prepared by their support team of Tanzanian cooks and porters, drink water from mountain streams purified with iodine tablets, and sleep as best they can in small 2-man tents.
I've led over 200 international expeditions and summited Everest and K2, and people constantly underestimate Kilimanjaro, thinking that it's going to be an easy climb, and it really isn't. It's day after day, especially when you're new to things like camping. All these things kind of compound on top of each other, just exhausting you, and that's why there's such a low success rate on Kilimanjaro. Maybe truly 20% of the people make the top.
I'm as nervous as can be about tomorrow and the next day, and I have a lot of doubts, but I think it's the group and the community that will carry us all to the top. And when things get hard, we'll think about those people that we love and those people that we wish were here with us.
The team arrives in high camp nervous, cold, and exhausted. As they prepare to begin their grueling 9-hour assault on the summit, several members are beginning to suffer the effects of acute mountain sickness and the very real dangers of cerebral or pulmonary edema.
We've got almost 4,000 feet to go to the summit, and super excited, a little bit nervous, but it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to do something that none of us thought that we'd ever have the chance to do.
A little jittery, a little anxious, a little excited, a little bit like a kid about to freak out.
Can't wait. You're gonna make me cry. I'm gonna make me cry.
It's 3 o'clock in the morning. We're getting to the coldest part of the day, and we're about 17,500 feet. We're doing good, but it's time when you start to really dig deep and remember why you're climbing and who you're climbing for. So it's just minutes before dawn. We're just below 19,000 feet, It's probably about 15 degrees out right now, and we have been going for a little over 6 hours. How you doing there, Bree?
One step in front of the other, man.
Yeah.
About the last hour, I started getting a nosebleed, and I could feel and taste the blood dripping down the back of my throat. My vision was starting to go. That easily was the hardest thing that I've ever done. Sometimes it's hard to keep going, but we're here for a bigger reason, so here I am.
I can't believe it's a year ago where I was versus now. It's like night and day. Night and day. It's very emotional.
I bet.
It's going to be an amazing moment. I'm just really excited I get to celebrate it with all of these amazing people.
Finally, after 7 days and nearly 9 hours after leaving high camp, they can go no further. They reach Uhuru Peak at 19,341 feet, the summit of the highest freestanding mountain in the world.
We made it to the top of Africa. All the way to the top. And yesterday, I wasn't so sure it was possible.
Well, you know, the statistics to getting to the top of this thing are about 25 to 30%. There's lots of little places along the way that'll give you your summer certificate, but there's only one true summit. So, how do you get all 16 of us to the summit? Well, it takes a couple of things. Obviously, we have to be physically strong, but more importantly, we have to love each other. And it was really love that got everybody up here, because everybody's willing to work extra to get somebody else, you know, to make their life a little bit easier on the way to the top. And that's why I love doing these trips, because you just see people come together and just care so much about each other and make their dreams possible.
18 hours later, they're off the mountain, thanking the Tanzanian porters without whom this adventure wouldn't have been possible. And that night, back at the lodge, they sit in the darkness, crying, laughing, sharing the lessons learned over the last 7 days.
It's illuminating, it's uplifting, it's powerful, it's spiritual, it's emotional, it's impactful. It's I run out of adjectives. It's just the most amazing, life-changing experience of my entire life.
The moral of the story is we are all, every single one of us, every person on this planet is stronger than we give ourselves credit for. We can do these things. We can do unbelievable things. It just takes some leap of faith and some great friends.
You know, it seems like it was just yesterday.
An amazing story.
Thank you. A lot of fun. And of course, when we left Tanzania, we pretty much scattered all across the country, returning home. But we did say that we would be friends forever. And I think we will. Thanks mostly to social media, a week doesn't go by now that I don't have some sort of interaction with just about everyone who shared that amazing experience. And Bill, I bet you feel the same way about some of the hockey teams that you've coached and played on.
You know, there's something about being a part of a team. When you dedicate yourself to a shared goal, something remarkable happens. Now, you don't have to climb a mountain, you don't have to win a championship, but we should all look for opportunities to become part of a team that's trying to make a difference. Wendy Chioji and Doug Ullman, who you saw in that story, reconnected with some of the other Conquering Kilimanjaro participants by undertaking another challenge, this time on bicycles at Pelotonia 2017. They were part of a field of over 8,000 riders, all going anywhere between 25 miles up to 180. The Pelotonia event brought in more than $26 million, all of which goes directly to cancer research. Wendy shared her experiences on her Growing Bolder blog. She wrote about how moved she was by the size of the crowd that came to watch and by how many were cancer survivors themselves or had been in some way touched by cancer. It's something well worth reading. You'll find her blog, along with other inspiring insights from stories you've seen on this program at growingbolder.com/TV. And now, a message that can help you start growing bolder in your own life.
Our takeaway today comes from our Growing Bolder colleague, Secily Wilson, who says she actually draws strength and hope from what she's had to overcome. We'll see you next time.
I'm Secily Wilson for Growing Boulder. You know, I've overcome some enormous obstacles in my life. A stressful divorce that led me to becoming a single mom, suffering a stroke while on the air as a television anchor, changes in my career, and so much more. I've suffered through terrible traumas, major blows to my self-confidence, and I've even come close to losing hope. But at one of my darkest moments, I came to a realization. I had a lot to be grateful for. Wonderful children, work and faith that sustained me, and an opportunity to start surviving and thriving. A chance to be a positive role model for other women who are sometimes thrown a curveball in life, but choose to move forward. So here's my message. Take care of yourself. Set new goals, pursue your passions, and believe that good things are still ahead. That's Growing Boulder, and I'm Secily Wilson.
1 week to compete and to complete. Messed up already. Luckily, I get to do it again.
Anytime. It seems like it was just yesterday. Yesterday. Let me do it again. Okay?
Anytime.
Our Growing Boulder colleague, Wendy Wilson. Sorry, my mind was all.
More information about all of the stories you've seen here today is available at growingboulder.com/TV. And you can get inspired to keep rebranding aging when you connect with the Growing Boulder community on Facebook. Growing Boulder is available on DVD for $19.99 plus shipping and handling. A companion book, Growing Boulder, Rebranding Aging by Mark Middleton, is available as well for $29.99 plus shipping and handling. And you can subscribe to Growing Boulder magazine for $19.99. Order online at growingboulder.com/TV.